Hello and welcome to heliosblog. My name is Helios, here for another reaction video. Today, Andrew Tate on a video about how womanism destroys men. Let's get into it.
The reason she's alone is because she's difficult.
Women are not accepting the bare minimum.
Women fuck men they respect.
All the women who say things like, I'm strong, independent, I don't need no man, like, y'all impress me.
Women just gaslight each other and say what they want to hear.
Post-marriage society. Because on one hand, we hear that women should wait till they're married to have sex, but at the same time, we also hear from the men that they don't want to get married anymore. So what do we do with that?
Seems like it's true, because nowadays a lot of people are looking at marriage as a contract rather than a partnership. And there's a huge difference between that.
Nope. Partnership is a red flag. It is not a partnership. False. Wife and husband is not a partnership. It is a marriage. The man is the leader. It's not a partnership. Partnership implies equal relationship. No.
Because with a contract, there are so many terms and many headaches and this and that. And
Well, it is a contract.
Well,
yeah, women are
that's
paid
why.
to leave, yeah.
But that's because that is what it is now. Because realistically, the traditional sense of marriage is not a contract, really, in terms of the law. Once the
No, it is. The original marriage is a contract.
law is involved, that's when everything went tits up.
No, that's not when. When no-fault divorce was introduced, that's when. When you don't have to do anything to get divorced, that's when. Because before you had to prove beyond a reasonable doubt that your husband was cheating, or your husband was doing illicit substances, or your husband was beating you, or whatever. Yeah, not anymore.
I think.
Yeah, so the problem is that there's zero advantage to marriage in the Western world for a man. There is zero statistical advantage. If you use your mind, if you use your head instead of your heart, and you look at the advantages to getting married, there are absolutely and utterly none. Because this new idea of new age feminism just basically destroys all men in the idea, in the event of her leaving. And it's very common that women leave, right? Let's stop the man versus woman attack, et cetera, et cetera. Life's difficult for everybody. We all have different challenges, different things to go through. But if a woman marries a man and it goes wrong, she has emotional heartbreak, fine. But if a man marries a woman and it goes wrong, he has emotional heartbreak. Plus, everything he has ever worked for is ripped out from underneath him, and he has to give that chick money forever.
In some places, you don't even have to be married.
Exactly.
That's why the men don't want to live with the women either.
That's right. So when you make these rules and these laws, right, under the guise of feminism and equality, all this garbage, all you're doing is scaring men away from commitment. And then you have to add in the other hidden element, and the other hidden element is what I said earlier, is whose fault a lot of this is promiscuous women, right? So when society's broken down, if women were saying, if all women got together and said, we'll only have sex after marriage, guess what men would do? Get married. But you don't, right? So now you're...
That's right. That's what it used to be. Okay. Let's do the shilling. Hit the like, hit the sub, hit all the notifications. Drop me a donation like Hunter M, Adrian and Tom M. Shout out to them. Buy my books at bit.ly/heliosbooks. Shout outs to Curry Kid, most recent purchaser of the Strategist Guide to Seduction. I really do appreciate it. Go to my Patreon, subscribe, patreon.com/theheliosblog, and share this video. Alright, let's continue.
You're in Miami. I go to Miami. I can fuck anything in the club. I don't have to marry any of them. If I marry them, I get wrecked. So, like, let's all use our brains here. What am I going to do? Well, I'm going to be like, well, no. Bounce. See ya. No. So men have been scared away from the idea of marriage, and that's a lot of that is the fault of this new bullshit law and this new feminism and this new crap. They don't give men any tactical advantage. And I'm talking about small things. A man's not even allowed to be a man in his own house. You know, in England, you will get accused of emotional abuse. I can marry a woman, not lay a hand on her. I can just raise my voice at her. That's emotional abuse. I can
What? No, that's ridiculous.
raise my voice at her because she's going out drinking with dudes. She can go out drinking 6 nights a week with men, and I can say, what the fuck, you're my wife, sit down. She can call the cops, call me emotionally abusive. I get arrested now. Now there's a court case against me. I have to go to court and defend myself. She'll divorce me, take my house. I have to sell my car because she's drinking vodka with fucking God knows who.
But you
That's utterly ridiculous. That is absurd. That is, wow.
Notice that
What? It's
earlier on.
insanity.
What do you
But
what
you
do you
notice
what do you
that-
think of child support?
And that's another interesting thing, because a lot of these arguments, it goes beyond man and woman, and it goes into the larger sphere as a whole, right? Because we talked earlier about war and how a lot of men used to die, and that doesn't happen anymore. So what you used to have in societies, and I'm not saying I have all the answers, I'm just commenting, right? What you used to have in societies is a bunch of men would die at war, because men have more dangerous lives than women. There'd be a bunch more women than men. The top G's would impregnate a bunch of women, and the top G's could take care of the women, and that'd be it, et cetera, et cetera. That's now changed, right? So a lot of the reason that monogamy is pushed is because it's good for society. And it is good for society. It's good for society as a whole to have a man, a woman, a family, they're together, the man provides for the woman, etc. The government doesn't want to pay for all these kids. If you don't have child support, who's paying for these kids? The government does it. It breaks down, right? So that's why child support is enforced in many parts of the world. In certain other parts of the world, child support isn't enforced because they have religious beliefs or genuine family beliefs that keep the families together. But in the Western world, now you need child support because you've broken things down to the point where men don't want to be married to chicks. Chicks don't want to listen to the man. The man can't even be the man in his own household. He can't even feel respected where he goes. His woman.
Yeah, this is why so many men refuse to marry Western women, or even refuse to get married in the West, or they marry immigrants, or they literally change countries. That's why. That's why.
Gives him no status, and now he doesn't want to fucking deal with her anymore. So how do you get that kid paid for? Well, then tell the man, or you go to jail, and you just come along with the fucking long arm of the law and you fuck him. And so, yeah, it's difficult. It's hard to answer. Yeah, but it's hard to answer. The true answer to all of it is an idealistic answer. I don't like to think idealistically and talk idealistically, but it's the truth. The true answer to it is to instill in the man a sense of duty in which he wants to take care of his woman regardless, because that's his child. But you will do that. I'll tell you how you do that. You do that by inspiring out of the man by being a very good woman. So I'll give you an example. If I had a child with a woman, and she was always a great woman to me. She never cheated on me. She was a good woman to me. And I was running around being whatever. And she's like, look, I just can't put up with you anymore. You're top G. You're going to do what you're going to do. I'm going to look after your kid. You can see him anytime you want. I care about you. Please don't leave me in poverty. I'd say, cool. 100%. I'm not a fucking dickhead.
Can I
cool.
say
I got
That's a real man, though, because I was in a situation but I was just in a situation like that, to where it's like hearts don't break even, and that's the reality too. It's like if those morals and principles are not instilled in a man, none of that shit matters. So
no, you went and got with an NBA player. He got you pregnant, and then you tried to take him for all his money. That's like, you expect a guy who is like, and you did it on purpose, and now you're trying to paint it as it's his fault. No.
Obviously, the child support stuff obviously hits close home to me, because I'm already $50,000 just in lawyer fees trying to get him to provide.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And it sucks because it's like, you play in the NBA, like why don't you want to do more?
Look, virtue signaling. Look at how great of a person I am. I got a guy that was in the NBA. You see? It's all about me.
And it's just because, again, of the relationship. It's personal. It's not about our son.
Personal. That's right.
So it's like, if you're not...
I just feel like it's like, why do you get money for making a poor choice?
Well, it wasn't a poor choice because it took two.
I'm not trying to...
It was a poor choice. You chose to have a child before marriage, and now you're trying to steal money from the guy by force using the law. Okay.
Like disrespect you in any way. It's just like, if you left, and
no,
so it's like, why do you get money for it? It just doesn't make sense.
because we made a commitment.
That's
so we
it.
made at the end of the day, we made a commitment. We have a forever commitment. Fuck marriage. We are forever family. So again, as someone who is literally going through this, if I made more money.
So what's her thing? She's gonna say, you don't know me, you don't understand me, you don't understand my story, you're wrong. Great argument. Perfect argument.
Than him, I would be paying him child support, and that would be...
Stop the cop. You would be doing exactly what he's doing. You think girls that make more money than guys, they respect them and treat them properly? No. You're not in the pole position, And so you think that you can dictate terms if you were.
Be fair to me.
But this is what's really interesting. What's truly interesting is if you go to other countries, and I'm talking about civilized countries, right? If you go to Poland or Czech Republic or whatever, these countries, which are in many metrics more civilized than the West, they're safer to live in, they're cleaner, etc. There's no child support laws. So if you have a divorce, the man just takes care of the woman because that's his kid and that's just what he's supposed to do and that's just it. So what you're saying is, you're right about the man having the morality instilled inside of them. And my point is that the reason a lot of this doesn't exist, the reason men don't have morality installed in them, is not just about the individual case of the man. It's about society as a whole.
Yup. In Western society, people are raised to have a combative relationship, the genders, right? So men are supposed to be against women. They're fighting, you know? And because they're fighting, you know, things are taken by force. It's like a war. And why? Why is war important? Well, if the family unit is divided, then people can't unite to form a common community, common culture. And so the government, and it's not really the government that rules, you know, the West. It's actually corporations, corporatist oligarchy, right? So basically rich businessmen that then pay the government to pass laws that do what they want. So effectively, this divide and conquer, what has it done? Well, what it's done is it's made more women consume, because before, you know, men and women were together, the man controlled the money, and so less consumerism happened, and so the businesses made less money. But the families were much more stable, and so is the country as a whole. Now, country is extremely unstable, but corporations make a ton of money. And corporations don't really care about people's happiness. They're just cattle, right? People are just cattle for making money for these corporations. So they don't care. They've destroyed literally the lives of millions. And for what? So that they can increase their bottom line. They ruin the lives of women, ruin the lives of men, ruin the lives of children, millions of people all over the West. And for what?
It's about women as a whole, men as a whole, the dating game as a whole,
right?
The life he's living as a whole. And this is the world we live in. This is why I was talking about how dangerous new think is, because now we have this new think, this new world, and we're living in this new world. And the truth is, as a man, now the game has changed. In the game of chess, sometimes it's not about winning. It's about making sure you don't lose. If you can not lose, if you can not blunder any pieces and protect your king long enough, you'll win the game. And there's a lot of men who are now like, okay, how do I not lose? Well, you know what? I become fucking ruthless. That's how I don't lose. I get all my sex because the women are promiscuous. I get laid as much as I want. I don't let anyone fucking tie me into anything dumb. Any bitch wants to get fresh to me or fucking talk to another dude, I cut her off financially. And you just get ruthless so you don't lose the game. But that's because the game's been rigged against men. So the harder you rig the game against us, the more ruthless we're going to have to be to compete. And it's unfortunate. I'm not saying I have the answers. I'm just saying why men do what they do.
Can I just say with regards to Brittany, I just think that with regards to child support, you've got a kid, you look after it.
Hey,
I do.
Sure. But here's the thing. If you have a child, you look after it. But it shouldn't be by force you're in a jail cell if you don't do it. Right? And it's not by force you're required to pay a certain amount of money that is undetermined, is determined by the girl, that she gets to spend on whatever she wants. Right? So actually, the way that child support works in the West in 2023 is you give the girl a check and she can do whatever she wants with it. The presumption is that she's spending it on the child, but there is no legally bound way to spend that money. So you as a man are legally bound to give the check, and if you don't, you're in a jail cell. But if she spends not 1 cent of that money on your child, and she spends it all on herself, or sleeping around, or drinking with dudes, or going on vacation, she doesn't end up in a cell. The presumption is that she spends the money on the child. But that's not what happens in reality. What happens in reality is basically the divorce is a woman's side business where she has passive income coming in without her having to do any work. And she can allocate that passive income as she desires. So basically, the relationship is a rental property. Someone else has to pay, and she benefits. And that person has to pay with a police baton at his back. Now, how is that fair?
But not you, the men.
Oh, I was like, I do look after my son.
No, not you.
Okay, I was like,
no, that's what I said. No, that's what I said with regards to the child support. That's what I first said. I think that you have a kid, that you should look after it. I don't agree with men giving the women money, but I think it's disgusting that a man can have a child and not support it.
So do I. But this is another thing. So this is the comments we have to make, right? Because we don't have all the answers. We have to make the comments on it. This goes into the deeper point. Every time a court rules in favor of a chick having $100,000 a month, that puts men off to a level. Like, it's fine if there was a baseline child support. $1,000 a month, $2,000 a month. That's if you have a kid, baseline, regardless of income. If your man wants to give you more, he does. If he doesn't, whatever. But when you come along and start saying this % of a man's income, do you have any idea how scary that is to a man who works for his money? He works for his money. And do you know why it's scary? It's not just because he's giving his money away. It's because he knows he isn't giving money to the kid.
Yeah.
The kid,
that's right.
You can raise a kid on $500 a month in most of the world. You want that kid in Gucci, you in a nice car, going on dates with another dude with my money. I'd rather burn the fucking house down than to give it to you under those fucking circumstances.
Make vouchers for child support.
I just think it incentivizes poor decisions. Like,
that's right.
I haven't gotten pregnant by someone, but like but I'm saying, but like you're gonna pay someone who's done that. Like, why do they get?
Okay. No, but I'm literally telling you that if I made more money than him, I would have no problem paying for my child. And their child support.
But it's not paying for the child. What's actually happening is you're paying the guy passive income for you having the pleasure, the good fortune to be in a relationship with that guy. And that money may or may not go to the child.
Child support laws vary in different states. So in North Carolina, for instance,
muddying the waters.
Make over combined of $300,000 a year, then you are considered off the grid. So then you have to prove this is how much your rent is. Any bill that my son occupies, I get a percentage of. So on the low end, it would be 50%. If there's a big enough salary gap, it could be up to 97%. In the court, the judge gets to decide.
What? You get 90%, 97% of the guy's income?
What makes the most sense. So if my child's father makes $20 million a year from basketball, he gets to decide if $6,000 is a lot, if $8,000 or $10,000, whatever. But you have to prove that. So it's not like you just it's enough money for a Chanel bag. Like, these are my son watches Peppa Pig. That's a cable bill. You know what I mean? So it's a percentage of everything. So you're not like just living it up. You're just living. I mean, so you're able to. There's a roof over your son's head.
My whole point is that like it's all down to choices. And
the man made a choice too, because I can't get pregnant unless he nuts in me.
I understand that, but I'm
then there's
what is this like masculine garbage? If he nuts, like, so unfeminine, so unladylike to speak like this. What?
Nothing to argue. You understand that.
You're the one that's you're in control of who gets born. Abortion's legal.
Yep.
Okay.
As soon as
yeah, the reason why she had the kid was to get the passive income from an NBA basketball player.
As soon as he nuts, it's completely out of his control.
Listen,
can I just say something though?
Wait.
Just playing devil's advocate, that I had my child and me and the dad went together, and I didn't take a penny from him. And the government wanted me to, but I decided that no, that he was better off that.
What a great girl.
My child, I look after him myself. Anything he wants to give.
Oh yeah. So her argument, the girl with what's her name, Brittany Renner, it's tu quoque, avoiding having to engage with criticism by turning it back on the accuser, answering criticism with criticism. It's like answering a question with a question. That idea.
If he wanted to, it was extra, but I worked hard and I done it all on my own. Because it was just less. Because it's this headache. It's this headache.
No, and I know a lot of women that went that route.
It's my child.
There's also special pleading, which is very common tactic by girls. Moving the goalposts or making up exceptions when a claim is shown to be false.
You have to think that he's not going to be a man and take care of his child. Don't you think that's unfair on you?
No, because he's my child and he's happy, and I'll give him what he wants.
Child as well. He made that child.
That's why I don't need a man
but the
at
whole
the
point is
you know?
You choose who you sleep with.
Listen, right, as far as
he chooses. as well. That's the thing.
Yeah,
like,
this is two to tango.
Yeah, so it's any excuse not to take accountability or personal responsibility.
But I'm saying right now it's not fair because women have abortion that's legal. It's not legal for them.
Oh,
they get no say. They get no say, and the same thing with birth
I mean,
control.
I could have done, but it wasn't worth my time.
You can get
Why am I going to go and fight a man?
An IUD.
Yeah,
it's like 99.9%.
But what if the man wanted the child though?
That's exactly my point. So I was on birth. Let's use me as an example.
My point. I think he should. I think he should take care of it. I just don't agree with having legal incentives for women to leave. That's my point. He should give you money for the kid. If you have a kid, you should, but I just don't agree with
See, but the thing is, if men stood up and became fathers to their children, women wouldn't have
if
to.
women,
If men stood up, if you chose good men, you wouldn't have to worry about this.
If women, but it starts. We're in control of who we sleep with. So at the end of the day,
that's not the point, because
if you pick who you sleep with. So if you pick a guy that's getting girls pregnant left and right,
but she doesn't know that he's not going to be there. She doesn't know that.
If she married him, she'd be all right.
She trusted this man to be a father to a child, and now she's left with a child, and no one's going to support her.
Marry him.
Don't you think that's unfair?
Should have married him first.
I mean, you can get married.
Of course.
You get married. That's
what I'm saying. It's
You
just
think
like
marriage is what solves problems? Are you guys actually sitting
what I'm
here?
trying to say, marriage will solve her financial problems.
Spoken, Auntie. Please don't cut me off. This is the problem, yeah? Stop acting like every woman that leaves a marriage and gets divorced is because she's this and she's that. There's a lot of women that suffer and they actually need the support and the legal incentive so that they know when they leave, somebody can back them up because they'll be...
Yeah, so what you're saying is just believe all girls, just give all girls money because some women are suffering. What is that? Let's look at the logical fallacies here. Bandwagon? No, it's, what is it? No true Scotsman? Something like this. Because, no. Because one person needs it. Because one person needs it, everybody needs it. What is it? It's here somewhere. Okay, anyway. It's here. It's in these logical fallacies.
Be on their own. Stop acting like men are angels because there's a lot of men that are dealing with a lot of the...
Again, this is a classic girl argument, which is, I have one exception. It's special pleading. I have one exception. Therefore, the claim is false. Special pleading. Ad hoc. It's a logical fallacy.
Traumas that they have from a man's world being difficult. The same way that Andrew Tate explained, a man's world is highly competitive. Men are out there suffering. It is hard to be a man. And a lot of the time, the person that takes the brunt of it is the woman. So yes, she's well...
What? Men are suffering, so the people who suffer most are women? That's the Hillary Clinton argument. The people that suffer most in war are women and children. What? How about the men that die? How about those? It's not the person that dies that suffers the most. It's the person that lives after. Like, what? Death is final. Suffering, at least you get to live. Like, what?
Within her right to leave, take her child, and be in a better place. And the government should step in to make sure that that man that made her make that decision steps in for their kid.
Can I say something?
Yeah. So if she decides for whatever reason to leave, the government should step in. That's what she's saying. You guys agree?
The time that she takes to take care of the child is the time that she doesn't have to go to work. So she's already down on income and she's having to be taking care of the child on her own. That don't make sense. Not every man is a blood.
Stay with your man then. If you don't want to stay with your man, you shouldn't have been with that man. Choose a better man.
Angel, and not every woman is a devil.
Don't pick men.
Wait, hang on a minute.
I'm gonna leave. Go ahead.
Hang on a minute.
How do you do that, bro?
When did I say a man was an angel?
How do you do that? How do you do that?
How do you pick the right man? Well, you don't pick based on your emotions. That's how. You ask your father, is this man good for me to marry? He'll tell you within 1 second.
I'm talking.
Ask your grandmother.
I waited.
Yes, you did.
I waited. right? So now it's my time to talk.
Talk to me.
What I was saying to her is, right, is that if she had got married first, then she would have been all right. She would have to be fighting through the court. So the same law that you're saying would have supported her and her child.
And
that is the difference between getting married first.
No,
and that's what I'm saying. And that's
Yup. Marry before you carry. Kevin Samuels.
When
getting married just gives you more money. Then
Hang on a minute.
a divorce and kids. It's not a good decision, yeah?
Excuse me.
Her way of talking is just talking over the person. Yeah, very respectful, very polite.
But I shut up when you were talking.
Go on, apologize.
Yeah, which logical fallacy is that? I don't even know. It's just over talking.
My auntie.
Right.
I didn't mean to disrespect you.
So what I was trying to say is that there is an incentive when women get married first and have children. Because I'm not saying that you. I'm just saying women in general.
Oh, another one that women use. So the most common two logical fallacies committed by girls: special pleading, moving the goalposts or making up exceptions when a claim is shown to be false, and the other one is anecdotal, using personal experience or an isolated example instead of a valid argument, especially to dismiss statistics. The two most common logical fallacies committed by women: special pleading and anecdotal.
If a woman gets married first before she has a child and then it leaves, then it's totally different. Like he said before, she's set up for life. If she leaves, she's set up for life. So if somebody
She's set up
else,
for life without marriage, though. That's the point.
No,
you say what you want to hear.
No, and as a person, again, let's ask somebody who's actually going through it, because none of you fucking know what the fuck you're talking about when.
What? Oh, again, this is anecdotal. Using personal experiences instead of a valid argument, especially to dismiss statistics. Bam.
When it comes to child support, lawyers, none of that shit. None of you fucking know, okay? So you don't. The reality is, if I would have gotten married and did everything right and did everything the moral way, right? Guess what? All I would have on top of what I'm going through with child support is alimony. So I'm still in the courts fighting, whether I'm married or whether I'm not. So that I get what you're saying, because
So what Brittany's actually saying is she strategically put herself in this position to get this result. Yeah, disaster. All right, let's end the video there. Hit the like, hit the sub, hit all for notifications. Drop me a donation like Hunter M, Adrian R, and Tom M. Buy my books at bit.ly/heliosbooks. Shout out to Curry Kid, most recent buyer of the Strategist Guide to Seduction. I really do appreciate it. Thank you. Go to my Patreon, subscribe, patreon.com/theheliosblog. Also, if you wanted to give me a sub for the podcast, you can click on the description of the podcast, like let's say on Spotify, and just go to the link that says support the show. The Buzzsprout link there, you can support me there. And of course, share this video. Thank you so much for listening, especially if you listen to the end. I really do appreciate it. Take care of yourselves, and I'll see you next time.